All right. So, sand ramp or sand building. So, this is based off of a little theory of the idea of the pyramids being built under under the sand. So, like it was built in the sand, right? Don't know what that's all about and where that idea came from, but it was an interesting idea. Um, like I said, I don't know how the theory goes, but it was just an interesting idea in general. I like to try out different concepts. So what if, right? What if? So here's the Giza Plateau, right? And then you want to start building up your pyramid. So put your pieces in, right, to get your first layer up and running. So there's your first layer. So then what you do is you bury the pyramid. So now this is essentially flush with the ground. So you'll be able to, obviously move, right, more blocks. So then we'll continue building. Now we'll vary it some more. Now it's time to put some blocks at the top. Oops. And then we cap it up. Now the idea is obviously to build back down. So then you'll start putting the capstones on, right? And start building your way down, and then move the sand down to get to the next level, right? And then continue building down from there, right? Until you get back down to the plateau. You can add this capstones down here, right? You don't have to do all sides. This just obviously it's just for the idea purpose of burying the pyramid to build. You can obviously just do it just on one side. Just put the sand on one side, right? Just on one side, and then start building it up, and then put more sand up to try to get to a higher. So you only really need to do just one side because that's the side where all the blocks are going to come in, right? And then you just build your thing, and then from there go back down, and then remove, back down, down, back down, right? Until you back down to the bottom, and then put your capstones in at the bottom, and you should have a full pyramid. So that's an idea of that I got from the whole pyramid being buried. Will be an interesting method for building a pyramid. This method might work better on a smaller pyramid, right? Because the amount of sand you would need for a bigger pyramid, right? But it was an interesting idea. There was another idea similar to this one that came from this idea. I was like, what if there was like a pool, right? Like a pool. You had kind of like a pool you created around, like using the Giza Plateau as the bottom of the pool, right? Fill it up with water, and then use the water level, going up, filling it up with water, and then have the blocks, essentially, with wood tied to it would be floating. And then this is how you can move it around and stack. And then there's a small detail about the pyramids is that there's 3 boat pits, as they call it, around the Giza pyramid. one, like essentially on each side. It's like boat pyramids. Why we have boats that close to the pyramids, and why would they be in a pit, right? That seems a little weird. Unless you have this idea, I'm talking about like the whole idea of creating a big, essentially a big pool that you can obviously build the pool up, right? You can build up the layers, right? Just stack and build up, and then fill up while you're building, and then drain it down when you start building back down. And that way you can use boats to float, right? You float the boats. And that's what will allow you to move and put the blocks wherever you want them. And they'll be lighter, the rocks will be lighter in water because of buoyancy. And then, you've got logs attached to them, so you can use rope and wood, just to make things easier. So boats, wood, rope, water, combine all that, and you could, essentially build a pyramid that way. So it's just an interesting idea. Just wanted to throw that in. That's basically just a water version of this. But it's the fact that, like I said, there's literally boat pits. Well, they call it boat pits. It's like, well, if those literally had boats in them and they were around the pyramid, maybe it's implying that maybe they use some type of water system method to build the pyramids. I believe they could do it without it, but I'm just saying, maybe that's how they did. Maybe that's the method that they use. Because I could come up with 1,000 different ways on how to build the pyramids. The thing is, which way did they choose to build the pyramids? Was it through the sand method? Was it through water, like a water elevator? Using water like a crane, essentially. Because think about it, you got all you need is to put the rocks on wood and then make the wood float, right? Use water to float up the wood.